All right, all right, all right. It took me a few minutes to get things set up. I apologize. But Zoom didn't want to work right. Zoom didn't want to work right. We are broadcasting live both on YouTube and Facebook. I know I'm contradicting myself. I said I wasn't going to do it live on Facebook anymore, but after deeper consideration, we're going to still do lives on Facebook. We're just not going to go to TikTok. TikTok is a hassle. TikTok is a hindrance. TikTok is not beneficial to us in that way. So we're going to stay with Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully the people from TikTok, as I've been telling them, come on over to these two channels. But glad to be back on Facebook. We're here today. Hey, I appreciate you guys first and foremost. Let me tell you that I appreciate you always. I love the fact that you are supportive to the channel. For those who support the channel by sharing, I appreciate it. Those who support it by liking it, I appreciate it. Those who support the channels financially, I appreciate it. And thank you guys for being. Those who participate, let me know who they are. Hey Debbie, how you doing? Hey Gucci, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. So if you were here, we didn't have a show yesterday because it took me all day to get the government stuff done that I need to get done. It took me a long time. So we didn't have a show yesterday. If you watched the show on Wednesday, if you're on my YouTube channel on Wednesday, it was Wednesday or Monday, Tuesday, I don't know. It's one of them. But we talked about the fact that people were asking questions about moving back to Africa, why we should move back, how can we move back, things of that nature. I told them that will be the primary discussion today. That primary discussion today, should we move back to Africa? Why should we move back to Africa? If so, how? What's the benefit? How do we do it? What's the process that we can go through? I don't know everything. You will definitely have to go and do some of your own research. Greetings, Stein. Nero. You will definitely have to go do some of your own research because different countries are going to have different requirements and it's a wholly different situation. Because remember, the first thing we got to get out of mind is that Africa is not one unified continent. Africa is 54 different countries. So all the laws are not the same. All the cultures are not all the same. I hate when people say I'm moving back to Africa. Okay, where are you actually moving? Because that tells me more. I'm moving to Tanzania. Okay, that's a different understanding. I'm moving to Rwanda. Different understanding. I'm moving to Ghana. I'm moving to Ivory Coast. I'm moving. If you have a plan, if you're planning on moving to Africa, let me know in the comments. If you would like to move to Africa, let me know in the comments if that's what something you would like to do. If you've been following me long enough, y'all know I'm leaving. Y'all know I'm leaving. First stop won't be Africa, but second stop certainly will be. Getting ready to leave real soon, sooner than you think. But when it was being brought up in the last live, I forget the gentleman who brought it up. Had already been planning on talking about a lot of the things that are going on over in Africa, in different countries in Africa, that are beneficial to us. But the biggest why has been exemplified recently, about 2 weeks ago, when the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, went to Africa. And when she went, she typified why we need to go to Africa. Why not all of us, not all of us are going to go. We still have a stake in this country, but a good 1/3 of our population in America, you know what? Let me not just put it on America. A good 1/3 of the diaspora population need to go back, because one of the biggest reasons we need to go back, if we don't, it will make the recolonization of Africa quite easy. I mean, I say quite easy. That's disrespectful to the people who are there on the ground. But it would make it easier without us. And it would make it 100% more difficult with us on the ground. And I'm not meaning on the ground to carry a gun. Because the recolonization of Africa, of the sub-Saharan Africa, because let me be clear, it is all just, the focus is completely sub-Saharan Africa that the Western world is trying to recolonize. it will be more difficult for them to do that with us there, because the process that they're going through, the recolonization, is not boots on the ground. It's not South African apartheid. It's economic colonization that they're trying to do. That's the process. It's economic colonization. As we saw with Kamala Harris going to on this trip to Ghana. I think she went to Uganda as well, and I forgot the other country that she went to. The conversation, and I believe the reporter was a plant and was told to ask the question, but the conversation was supposed to be about the amount of financial aid that the U.S. was going to provide for Ghana. Unfortunately, she ran into one of my favorite African presidents. I do. The reporter goes in and asks about a piece of legislature that's going through Parliament, through the Guyanese Parliament, banning LGBTQ lifestyle in Ghana, not allowing them to get married, not allowing them to adopt children, and not allowing them to use media and social media to influence people of the LBT, and like I be messing that up all the time. So not allowing them to spread their message in Ghana. And they call those human rights violations. Human rights violation. Is that a human right violation, or is that a democratic violation of Ghana's rights of sovereignty? You see, when this reporter who was planted, and yes, James, I agree with you 100%, who was planted to ask that question, started a distraction. You see, most LGBTQ people in America who are fighting for their rights here in America, in Europe, they didn't even care about the fact that those types of policies in Uganda and other places have already been in place. They've been in place for a long time. They say nothing about that. Now they want to bring it to the forefront. They want to speak up about it. Now they want to protest. They want America to sanction Ghana and Uganda. And see, that's what America's goal was in the beginning, is that they wanted to sanction Uganda. They want to sanction Ghana, but they needed a justification. You see, it was mad at President Adu when he told the European Union that you will no longer get Guyanese cocoa. We're going to refine it ourselves, manufacture it ourselves, and you will have to pay the full boat and get Guyanese chocolate. No longer will you get Guyanese gold. We are going to refine it ourselves, manufacture it ourselves, and then you will have to pay for Guyanese gold for whatever your gold needs are. And not only that, we're going to begin to back our dollar with the Guyanese gold as they build their reserves. So in about 5 to 7 years, the Guyanese dollar should be backed by gold. I hope that they are able to do it. I'm looking forward to them doing it. I expect them. Y'all know I don't like hope. I don't know. We don't do hope around here. We don't do hope. No, it's done. It's done. The Guyanese dollar is backed by gold, by Guyanese gold. That's what's in their reserve. But by trying to impose economic sanctions, by utilizing this methodology, it gives them that ability, or at least they want to try to take that ability. But the sub-Saharan countries in Africa got 3 aces up their sleeve, and we're one of them. We're one of them. And we're going to, in betwixt all of this, we're going to talk about how and what we can do. And I definitely want to know what you guys think of the matter. If you do have a desire to move there, we're going to continue to work on processes and programs to get you there. All right, but you don't waste my time though. Let me be clear. I know y'all see Coach Renz up here, and y'all think I'm supposed to be nice all the time and cordial all the time, and I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all really don't know me. Y'all really don't. I can be a complete asshole. Just telling you right now, and I don't beat around the bush. I don't like for people to beat around the bush. I don't like people talking and with no action. If you seriously want to go to Africa, I will be more than willing to help you in any way I possibly can without injuring myself. But if you just somebody who just talk, I will cuss you out and tell you who you are and that you need to get the hell on somewhere and stop talking to me. Because we have one thing that is most precious, and that is time. I don't like when people waste my time. So let's be clear. Let's be clear. If you want to go. Now, I don't know, James, as you said, oh, I know. I just realized who James is. I know he big faxing about. Uh-huh. No, but he knows. James knows me. Well, he's been getting to know me because he still got a lot to learn to know me. But yeah, I don't like people who just talk and with no action. And if you're that kind of person, but if you actually want to take steps to make that move, I got you. As long as it doesn't, I'm not going to injure myself to help you, but I got you. I got you. We there, right? We there. Everything's great, Jordan. How you doing? So, only talk to me about moving to Africa. Only talk to me about how and what you should do in that regard. But we're still talking about why right now. They're using this LGBTQ thing as a distraction so that they can impose sanctions on sub-Saharan African nations. And they also want you to continue your negative thought process of sub-Saharan Africa. You see, they don't want the people of color going to Africa. They're making sure that the people, as people like to say for some reason now, but I can't stand that. They want to make sure that white people go to Africa, take the land opportunity, take the business opportunities. There is absolutely nothing that you do here in America that you cannot do there. The beauty of it all is that you doing it there, you have a higher possibility of becoming financially wealthy to whatever level of financial wealth, whatever level you call financial wealth. Almost everything you do. In my research this week, specifically, I don't know why, but farming kept coming up. Like there's poultry farmers, there's sheep farmers. I ran into this one guy's YouTube page, Farm Up. He's from Uganda, became a doctor in America. I believe it was America. Or it was America or the UK, became a doctor, practiced medicine in the UK or America, whichever one he was from. And then went back to Ghana and started a chicken farm. And now has like 400 acres and he chicken farming. There's there's a security guy. He was a security guard in the UK, saved his money, came back to Uganda, built over 200 houses, and is making money hand over fist. Another gentleman whose page I follow, he left America, he called America Damn Erica, went to Tanzania, bought a dump truck for $70,000, whereas where he was from in America would cost him $130,000. Rents out the dump truck, now has like 5 or 6 dump trucks that he rents out. You see, there are opportunities, is my point here. You know what I'm saying? There are many opportunities. There are people who go over there and they open up restaurants, they buy houses, they open up clinics. But notice the majority of people are going over there opening up a business. See, I was just also informed on a personal story of a person who had a couple of good years, has the American market value. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? This person has the American market value of slightly above minimum wage as far as what their work abilities, their education, and that sort of thing. They're slightly above that, but they hit a lick during COVID, made them, and then sold their house. Had about 200 grand in the bank. They rolled on over to Kenya and they lived it up. They flying to London and going to Beyonce concerts. They living it up. And now they're broke and they're about to come back home. You see, don't go over there and you need a job. If your job, I sat down with a guy who has a job here, that's different. I sat down with him. He has a job. He works from home. We figured out what his schedule would be. He would start work at 3 p.m., finish at 11 p.m. He would have to work on Saturdays to account for Friday here, but then he would have his Sunday, Monday, Tuesday would be his Sunday, Monday would be his main days off, but he wouldn't go back to work again until Tuesday at 3 p.m. So it's kind of like having 3 days off every week. But, we figured out a schedule that would allow him to telework and he's interested in Uganda, one for the housing market. Oh my God. On that video earlier this week, that it was this house, beautiful house with a terrace. James, I don't know if you was here, but when you come back, I'm gonna show you that dang house. That upstairs terrace, perfect for a cigar terrace. But $145,000 get you a house that here in Atlanta would cost you about $700,000, $800,000. You see what I'm saying? I'm not African. Why would I move to Africa and uproot everything I know? Good question. Good question. I'm not African either. I'm American. Where are you from, Mr. Shit. Well, my eyes don't want to work today. Chastain. Oh, you remember the conversation from Sunday. Where are you from? As we define race in this matter plane of existence, what's your race? Those two things will help me to answer that question for you as to why. But why is very important. That's why I put why and then how. Your own personal why is the most important part of it. You see, why I'm leaving this country, even if I was choosing to go somewhere else, one of the main reasons why I'm leaving this country, because I don't want to deal with the stress of the racism in this country anymore. That's one of my biggest why. I don't want to feel the anxiety of when I pass a police officer or be nervous because you don't know if you got a good cop or a bad cop when you get pulled over, or just seeing one in the grocery store. You don't know what type of police officer you're dealing with. When you go into the banks and you know that as soon as you walk in the door, there's already a negative connotation towards you being able to open an account, get a loan, whatever it is that you need, knowing that they're still redlining in this country. And if I wanted to buy a house in a predominantly Black community, that it is more difficult, and I'm going to have to pay a higher interest rate. Those are some of my stress relieving whys. Those are just some of the stress relieving whys. All right. As a Black man, do you not consider yourself African or of African descent? No, I am definitely of African descent. I was just the specific nationality that's like on your, I'm born in America. If America was truly just America, is what I meant by that one. So you have African ancestry. All right. African ancestry, all copper-colored Americans, aka Indians. But I respect African culture, and if I could afford it, I would vacation there. Well, you can afford it. Don't say that you can't afford it, because you can. It's a matter of choice as to what you can afford in most cases. Because I know a lady who supported my supports one of my businesses. She's never made more than $40,000 a year, but this woman is on her fifth passport, so you can afford to travel. It's about decisions. Now you're saying your copper colored lineage is far. So far, I found no African ancestry. All copper colored Americans, aka Indians. I that you are native to America and you have no why, as far as ancestry may be concerned. You don't have a why. You ain't gonna fall out with me, Deborah. I got you. I got you. Uh, but I'm sorry, I'm reading at the same time. So it's not that I'm lost in thought. I'm lost in reading, just to make sure I understand things. James wrote some stuff too. All right. So this today, well, you know what? I don't care. The debate about being indigenous to America and not being indigenous to America is a debate of separation. Because here's the real fact. And this is one of the reasons why I don't get into that debate is because whether you claim that you're copper colored and you claim that you're Native American and whatnot, the governmental system does not care what you're claiming. When the police pull you over, if you are copper colored, you are a black man as far as they're concerned. Their threat matrix kicks in and you are a threat. So we can claim that. We can argue about that all day. But as far as reality is concerned, it's semantics. Because they're redlining you just like they're redlining me. They're seeing you as a threat just like they're seeing me as a threat. When you go into a job interview, that if it's a white person doing it, they see a black man. I think, yeah, you said Mister. They see a black man. They're not looking to, well, I think he might be indigenous to America. So let me give him something different. Let me treat him differently. That's not happening. That is not what's going through their mind. What they see is a black man, plain and simple. They see you as being lazy and shiftless. They see you as being less educated, as being given into fits of anger and all the other racial connotations that come with America. That's how they're going to see you. That's the reality of it. We can argue amongst ourselves. We're native. We're native. So if you want to stay here and deal with that because you're saying that this is your native land, that's fine. My question, well, my not a question. Then then do something about it here. This is why I'm just over trying to change the consciousness of the inlaid racism in America. I can't even change the consciousness of the fact that at certain points in history of our history, more African slaves were owned by the so-called five civilized tribes than the colonists. Just as bad that the five so-called civilized tribes had to be forced to give up their slaves. They were the last group to give up their African slaves. So even though I do have some of that in my ancestry as well, especially through my grandmother on my mother's side, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much of that I have in my bloodline. Where can I go and know I feel I'm safer? Where can I go and know that I'm being treated more fairly? Where can I go and not have the stress of being shot by police? It's not America. So you can stay. That's fine. It's just not for me. It's not for me. And so the why a person who does not identify with any African ancestry, but yet you are still a copper colored person should desire or possibly desire to move to Africa. One, for the freedoms that you don't have here, the basic human rights freedom of of what they or of what is in the Declaration of Independence that has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, those unalienable rights. People of color in America don't have the right of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's conditional. So that's one reason. Second reason of why a copper colored black person, whatever you want to call yourself, person of color, has a better has better if you have a plan, and which is one of the things we're talking about today. What up, Dark Green? If you have that, if you have a good plan, you have a higher, you can have a higher quality of life. You can be more financially enriched living in most sub-Saharan African countries than you can here in America. And don't let the media fool you. They fake those images. They promote those images of the sad, crying, starving child in Africa. They promote. They don't show you the gleaming cities. You know, it's the Wizard of Oz, right? The whole first part of the movie, you see in the woods and you out in strange lands. You don't see the gleaming Emerald City. All they show you is that. They don't show you that Kigali, Rwanda. Now, when I first was in Rwanda, in the 90s, yeah, genocide. It was hell. It was hell. You know, the refugee camps down in Sudan. Whew. But since then, you know, I've actually literally had people walk into this lounge last year. The dude, it was last year. He thought Rwanda was still going through a genocide right now, that they were still having that was his mindset. But Kigali is one of the cleanest cities in the world, one of the safest cities in the world. It is growing. It is its primary focus, from what I can understand, is technology and financial services. It seems that they're moving in the same framework that what's the Southwest Asian country? It just fell out my head. There's a Southwest Asian country start with an S, I think, but they were they were in a very negative position, but then they focused on finances and technology. Now they are Singapore. Singapore became the financial hub of Southwest Asia. Rwanda seems to be moving in that general direction. So if you are an IT person or an IT company, you want to form a financial company, something like that, you already have a financial company, that would be a good place for you to go. Your cost of living, though, oh my God. If you bring in at least $4,000 a month, 4,000 American dollars a month in Rwanda, listen to me, Dark Green. You might want to hear this one. You are living as if you make around $200,000. If you're living an annual salary of $200,000 in Rwanda, just by making $4,000 a month, which we know that's only $48,000 a year, right? But your 48,000 is like 200,000. Your housing. I saw there was a house on the. I don't know, Dark Green, if you went and looked at that realtor's page, because that was on Wednesday, I think. I don't know if you would looked at that realtor page, but a house over there that was renting for $1,500 a month. That house would easily cost you $4,000 a month here in Atlanta. You easily paying $4,000 a month. And I'm talking about not downtown. You out in the suburbs. And you paying $4,000 a month for that kind of house. I know because I looked it up and I found a house that was very similar out in, and it was like right under $4,000 a month. A carton of eggs, a dozen eggs costs $1.76 in Rwanda. $1.76. How much y'all paying for eggs right now? Oh, you checked it out? That's what's up, Devil Dog. That's why I like my Marines. We go do shit. We get shit done. How much is a carton of eggs in America? I don't do my grocery shopping, so I have no idea how much a carton of eggs is, but I hear everybody's complaining about a carton of eggs. I think they're saying that it's like $5 for a carton of eggs, right? A dozen eggs. Am I right? Am I wrong? But I hear something like that. I know a pack of cigarettes does cost you about $5, $6, $7. And over there, a carton of cigarettes was like $1.36. See, Mac, y'all just discussed this. That's what's up. I'm telling you, the mindset, the movement is happening. I'm telling you. When Ghana did his year of return, people are becoming more and more interested in it. And it's happening. And I have a first generation Nigerian guy, first generation American born Nigerian, who comes in here, and we was discussing this at big length the other day, right? And there's at least about 5 or 6 guys who come to his lounge, they preparing themselves for their moves. But how much is a carton of eggs? Somebody in this on here has been shopping and know how much a carton of eggs is. But it's $1.76 over there in Rwanda. We were researching, and in Uganda, you can get 3.78. There was a sale. No, that was in Rwanda. 3.7 acres of land for $28,000. So in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, about $4 for a carton of eggs. And I'm pretty sure that's at the commissary more than likely. And then $5 to $7, depending upon your type of eggs that you want here in Atlanta, right? Yeah, Sally Struthers had them fake struggling commercials. Now, what you think about that? $1.76 compared to $5 to $7. You know, Dark Green going to commissary, and he getting it for $4. Conceptualize that through the majority of that economy. Gas is about the same price. Gasoline is about the same price. But when you conceptualize that through the entire country, what it boils down to is your money goes a lot further over there. What you cannot do is go over there and you need a job, and unless, because it's difficult, unless you can get it before you go, it's difficult, and unless it's what we would normally call a white collar job or a trade job, it's going to be difficult. You need to already have some form of cash flow coming in right now. That's the stage we're in right now. That won't always be the stage. As the more and more of us are moving to Africa, to different countries in Africa. And as we move, it will come a time. If you know about the Anti-Chinese Immigration Act, I believe it was in the 1800s. What they were trying to do was prevent Chinese people from coming to America after they had used them up to build the railroads. So they had the Anti-Chinese Immigration Act. And they said that if a Chinese person didn't have a job, they couldn't come to America. If you left America and you were Chinese and you didn't have a job, you couldn't come back. So they was trying to keep them out. But what the Chinese did was to flip that on them. And so they would open up a laundromat or a restaurant or something like that. And then they would hire their cousin, uncle, friend, neighbor, whomever. They would hire them in order to bring them to America. We're not at that stage yet in Africa, but that's a coming stage. There are more and more of us who are leaving here. That we're opening up restaurants, we're opening up stores, we're opening up just different businesses. Right, that's how Chinese restaurants got started. Exactly, that was the primary reason Chinese restaurants started being built, and laundromats and all these things. It wasn't because they had this great unification that we try to imagine that they have today. It wasn't. It was how they can get grandma, get uncle and cousin and brother, sister over here. It wasn't this, we're all unified. No, it was a workaround. That's why when people say we all got to get unified like Chinese, they're not. It's culturally based now. It's more cultural now, but it's still that culture because that law is still in existence. A Chinese immigrant can get into America easier because if they got a job. And so they are still utilizing the Chinese Immigration Act as a method to get their family members over here, get their friends over here. There were some negative things that happened in it with that process. Some Chinese people took advantage of other Chinese people, put them into indentured servitude with no way out. That stuff happened too. But what I'm saying, as far as today, I would, in the next 10 years, you will see more opportunities for you to go there if you just need a job, because there will be more Black Americans, more diaspora would have moved from America, from Brazil, from Europe. We would have come back. The UK diaspora is going back faster than we are. There's more UK diaspora going back right now. Proximity does make a difference, but also the teachings are making, the understanding is making a difference. It's a smaller country, and you have the ability to communicate with more Africans, people who have left Africa to go there to get educated. But a lot of those Africans are going back. The poultry farmer that I talked about earlier, that I researched on his YouTube page is Farm Up. There's a dude, Mode Maya. He highlights a lot of these people, a lot of people who have come back to Africa and did different things. But he went to school and practiced medicine, and he came back and built a poultry farm. The dude got like 400 acres now. He started in 2020. Started in 2019. He came back in 2019, started out, and now he has 400 acres. It's not even, what's that boy name? The little rapper boy? Akon was right when he said it's easier for a Black person to go to Africa and build a Fortune 500 company than it is for you to do it in your home country of America. I'm seeing more and more evidence that he is correct. That he's correct. I was researching this other family. They came to Gambia, and started a poultry farm and are millionaires now in the Gambia, which is a very small country, but in the Gambia. So you have opportunities that you don't have in America. So that's one of your whys. And as I started this, another why is that we can be the greatest ally to stop the recolonization, the economic colonization of Africa from the Western world. You see, if you notice, when the presidents go to Saudi Arabia, there was no planted reporter to sit up there and ask about their laws against the LGBTQ community. Did they ask that question when they went to Saudi Arabia? No, because America cannot bully Saudi Arabia. But they figure they can bully Ghana, they can bully Uganda. So they bring the plant. They distract the people. And I love the fact that the parliament in Uganda and the parliament in Ghana said that you are a hypocrite, America. You want to talk about human rights in our country, but yet you constantly and consistently violate the human rights of Black people in your country. You want to come and swing your stick here, but we are doing things democratically based on our culture, based on our people, but yet you claim to be a democratic nation yourself. They tried to jump at my main guy, President Kagame of Rwanda. I love that dude. You've been president for the last 20 years. Now their president, you're elected is a 7-year term, and he had a great response. He said, you're only judging democracy based on how you do it. You want everybody to do it how you do it. Just because y'all elect somebody and then you hate that person the next day and trying to get them out of office the next day. But the people in Rwanda keep voting for me over and over again. Our Constitution allows that. You claim democracy, but you're trying to steal our democracy. See, America just wants to control you. But I love his responses every time they try to throw something at him with human rights violation, but yet they are constantly ignoring the human rights violations in Europe, in America, when people are on a raft in the middle of the water and you turn them away so that they could possibly, they already survived a horrible, difficult journey. Now you turn them back to try it again or do it again or just put them back on the water. That's not a human rights violation, but you want to complain about. But you ain't saying nothing. Saudi Arabia do something, they quiet. Go be gay in Saudi Arabia and see what happens. You're going to get killed. Uganda and Rwanda Uganda and Ghana are just saying, you're going to jail. 6 to 10 years of prison. They're killing you in the Middle East. They're killing you. Oh, Mugabe? Yeah, exactly. Dark green know what I'm talking about. Middle East, they killing them. They find out that you're gay in the Middle East, they kill you. Uganda and Ghana saying, we're going to put you in jail. But you don't say nothing to the Arabs. Because they got that oil. They got that economic power. And one of the things that the African leaders have learned and that they have put in their back pocket, I said there are three aces that they have, us being one. The other two is China and Russia. America got y'all thinking, got many Black Americans thinking, I'm not going to say y'all, that China and Russia and African countries doing deals with them is a bad thing. Of course, to America, it's a bad thing because America wants to be the one to do the deals with them. But China and Russia just says, hey, you want to take a loan for this project, for that project? We'll give you the loan. Here you go. They don't come in and try to change their policies. They don't try to tell them what they can or cannot do with the money. You see, America, in December, when they had this so-called African conference in America, they said, yeah, $55 billion. We're going to give it to the AU over the next 3 years. But, which is always amazing to me, that you can pay $55 billion to that, but you can't do reparations to the people that you injured in America. Huh. It's amazing, isn't it? But we're going to tell you how to spend the money is what Joe Biden said to them. We're going to tell you how to spend the money. You just can't go and do your own infrastructure. You got to do the infrastructure we tell you to do. You can't do your own medical. You got to do the medical that we tell you to do. While China and Russia just says, you want the money for this bridge? We think it's a good deal. Here's the money for the bridge. China has funded over 124 different projects throughout sub-Saharan Africa. And it's like diversity when it comes to finances. And I know I've said this before. Only about 10% of the projects have failed. They're not able to pay it back. About another 20% is kind of they balancing out. But 70% of them are making money and they're paying their loans back. But China has not foreclosed on any of the 10% that completely failed because they're making enough money off of the ones that are successful. So they're not worried about that. They don't want to create that as a good business proposition. They don't want to create that negative. They don't want to focus on that. Imagine if an American bank actually thought that way. Yeah, I know I should repossess this car, but we're making so much money on all the other ones. We're going to try to continue to work with this person. But nope, the American way is I'm taking my shit back. I need every penny. I can't lose a penny. But China's not thinking that way, so they're doing better business with sub-Saharan Africa. Russia's not thinking that way. They're doing better business with sub-Saharan Africa. So the two aces up the sleeve is we don't need you, America. And America hates that. They're hating that. What would put the nail in the coffin is us. It's us. They will not be able to financially recolonize Africa if we went and began to invest in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care about north of it. I don't care about Arab Africa. I don't care about Arab Africa. Libya still got the trans-Saharan slave trade going on. I don't care about building up Arab Africa. I don't, because when I was in those countries, the Arabs treat there are a lot of Arabs who treated me like how white people treat me here in America. So I don't care. I'm going where the people. Anytime I was in sub-Saharan Africa, I was speeding. That dude said, either you can come back here and go to court, or you can pay me $50. Here go to $50, bro. I'll accept the bribery. Here, that $50. Yep, I'm admitting that I bribed the cop. But I can't tell you his name. I can't tell you the day or the time or the date. So you can try to, you can't prosecute that, because I can't remember. It was like 30 years ago, almost. No, it was 20. Yeah, almost 30 years ago. I think I remember that. But, and on the way back, when I was coming back, I knew where he was sitting. So I slowed down and I waved at him, and he waved back. There was no anxiety at all. Even when he pulled me over, I didn't feel any anxiety. Hell, when I was 2 years ago, when I was down in St. Thomas, and I was driving on the wrong side of the road, because they drive on the left side, but I jumped I'm used to how we drive here. And, the cop just pulled up and he just, hey, damn tourist, get over there. No anxiety. No anxiety. So why would I go? Why do I care? Why would I care about Arab Africa? Because they treat you the same way. I'm going down south. I'm a Southern boy in America. I'm going down south in Africa. Now, South Africa does get cold down, but you can go there and you can build business. When I was an IT guy, I had the opportunity to go to Botswana, but the group couldn't get their act together. Botswana they were offering the building, the equipment, and the students to build an IT school in Botswana. They've had over 50 years of great government, of stable government, and they wanted to continue to uplift their people. And so they were looking for us in 2002 to come there and build a IT school, right? Somebody else took the contract. They're doing great. They're doing great. When Mandela became president, some brothers I knew in my reserve unit, they did diversity training for Chase Bank. They went to South Africa and opened up a diversity consulting firm. Made millions the first 2 years. You have a talent, whatever that is. If you are a truck driver, to save your money, go over to Botswana or Rwanda, Tanzania, and open up a transportation company. You're good. You will do well. You got to be smart about it. You got to find out what your opportunities are. You can't go over there empty-handed. You got to have some cash reserve. So it's about getting yourself situated. The same way that people in other countries save for 10 years to come here, then save another 5-7 years to open up a business. That's the same mindset you have to have going there. Even if you are, I told you, guy was a security guard in Uganda. In the UK, saved his money, came to Uganda, built and started building houses, and has now built over 200 houses. A guy who used to be an employee. And let's be real, security guards don't make that much money nowhere in the world. But saved his money, had the discipline. What we talked about, Dark Green, and when we talk about leadership, had the discipline and the patience to save his money, kept maintaining his focus on his plan, and went to Uganda and started building houses. You build the first house, you flip the money, you start building more and more houses. Now he is the employer. Check out Taj Tank Bay and Anna Von Ritz. What are they talking about? Expectations from the colors and repatriate on the public record as an American Aboriginal. Okay. You just said what I'm about to do, putting my CDL to use in South Africa bound. South Africa is great for starting a transportation company. South Africa being one of the most industrialized countries in all of Africa, you have a lot of great opportunities. Oh, appreciate that, Dark Green, donating to the cause. Y'all don't know, I get a little tingle inside every time somebody does that, and it's an appreciation tingle. Just to be honest, it's an appreciation thing. 90% of what I do for free on here. And I have to say 90% because personal coaching costs. And if I do it whenever the rare times that I do a group class is usually so like a Zoom class. So I appreciate when people feel that, you know, when they do that. So thank you very, very much. But so even my guy Dark Green, he if you don't mind, well, you said it publicly, so I can say it. The United States Marine, he's in supply chain management right now. Especially if you go and get your Six Sigma, get up to that black belt before you get out. To go to Africa and start a supply chain management company, or even teaching Six Sigma, just going there teaching Six Sigma, you will make more money. You can make money faster and easier there than you can here doing that. Just being a Marine, you can teach military tactics or security tactics, or start a security company. I know supply, but you know, all Marines are infantrymen. But hone in on that, teaching leadership over there. You see what I'm saying? There are skill sets that we may not think about that we can go over there and utilize easier and better. If you started a security company in some of these countries in Africa, Dark Green, you can make you hand over fist. You see, you know, dudes are doing that here in America. Over there, even more. A United States Marine, and then you grab a couple of other Marines, get you some of them infantry dudes, get you a couple of them recon and force recon guys, and go over there and start a security company. The credibility that y'all carry, well, let me say we, since I'm a Marine, the credibility that we carry as United States Marine, and if you got force recon guys, you served in combat, your credibility is strong in Africa. Your credibility is strong everywhere, but it's stronger in Africa. You see what I'm saying? That's what oh shit. Thank you for another donation. See, Mac, appreciate it. And that's how we got to think. Importing and exporting. There are great opportunities for you to. So, like here in America, I've told you, if you follow me long enough, you know I used to. One of my neighbors was a guy from the Gambia, and he showed me his process of going to like Johnson and Johnson. He would purchase pallets of products that they no longer sell in stores. Maybe they changed the bottle, they changed the labeling. It's all these different things. This is how if you ever wanted to start a dollar store in America, that's where they buy their products from. They're buying their products, you know, for pennies on the dollar because the companies are no longer utilizing it. That's why sometimes you don't see the exact same product or the products change. Hold on for a second. I don't know why somebody's knocking on my door. They deliver something. Appreciate it. Free. Yeah. Just to let you know, if you come out here, normally we're not open. Yeah. But if you see my car, then I'm here. Or a white motorcycle, then I'm here. Yeah, buddy. Sorry about that. See, these UPS guys, they know my car. So he saw my car and said, oh, I can go ahead and deliver over here early. They tricking me like that. Who is this from? Dominicana Cigars. Hey, James, I got some more cigars in today. This should be the Patatus and the GTO Oaks. Hell, that. There are not a lot of cigar lounges in Africa. But what I have learned, depending on what country you go to, Like if you go to Benin and you want to open up a cigar lounge, all the cigar lounges there, they like got chandeliers and all that kind of stuff. So it got to be more elegant than what I'm doing here. You understand what I'm saying? But the land is so much cheaper. The housing is cheaper. The buildings are cheaper. The products are cheaper. You can do that. You see? So, especially if you have these understandings that you can go to a city like Calavari in Czech, buy chandeliers for pennies on the dollar, what they cost here in America. But back to my import-export guy. What he does, he buys those. He buys that. He ships it over to Ghana. He has a store. He has a cousin in Ghana. He ships it to him, and they have a store that they call the American store. The majority of things that they sell is diapers. They sell diapers more than they sell anything else, right? So I know you're saying in your mind right now, well, he got a cousin. He's already there. You know, he's from Gambia. He's already there. Okay, let's understand what I'm saying. And what he does is he rents. He does shared shipping crates. So he doesn't pay for an entire shipping container, just the cubic space inside one container. So that's what people are doing to get their products over there without having to pay for an entire crate shipping container, just a portion of it. So you save up some money. You get your license to purchase that type of thing here in America. You have a family member, friend, somebody you trust, a business partner that you have here in America who's going to go in. They're going to be making the purchases for you, and they're going to be shipping it out. You go there, you open up the store, and then you sell it. You over there, you got the connection that's sending it to you. You got the diapers, you got the hand soaps, and you got all the stuff from America. And America still has this connotation where people see that this is an American product. They, ooh, it's an American product. I want to get it. You go do it. You can do that same thing, just in reverse. He's here instead of like how he's here and got somebody over there. You're over there and you got somebody over here, and they're shipping the stuff to you. You see what I'm saying? You're walking with me. Can you walk down this street with me? Come on, I grab you by the hand and I'll walk with you. I ain't gonna drag you down the street, but I can walk with you. And if we run it, I run with you. My knees can't hold up, but I can run with you. Figuratively, I'm running with you. You see, we just have to open our minds up to see how we can do these things. But our why is think about the generational wealth that you can build faster and easier over there, especially if you're my age. I'm 51, right? Even though my kids are adults, I'm still thinking about the wealth that I'm building for them. There's another gentleman, he comes here, he has a cigar called Mega Legend Cigar. But his family is over in the Gambia right now. They originally was going to do rice farming, but the land that they wanted to buy and a whole bunch of stuff went crazy. So instead they opened up a store, and pretty much an American style store. Exactly what I was talking about, because I was telling him that, and he was like, man, that's what my family did. And they opened up a store like that. You see what I'm saying? There, those opportunities. There are many different opportunities that you can have. Don't tell nobody. But when I was stationed in Germany, I used to have family members send me Levi jeans. They were buying the Levi jeans for like $26, $29 in America. But a pair of Levi jeans in Stuttgart, Germany at that time frame cost $105. I was selling them for $70. You see what I'm saying? Don't tell nobody. That was 30 years ago, but don't tell nobody. That during that time frame, that's what I was doing. That's how I got out of debt. When I went to Germany, I was in debt. But I got out of debt by selling blue jeans that I had people in America sending me. So I didn't even understand the full concept of it back then, but I did it anyway. But that's how you got to think. Like, I know what CMAC. He's driving trucks. He's got that CDL. I already understand that. Dark green just gave you some ideas that you can do. Going on there. I need to know some of y'all other occupations, because I want to make this real. I want to make this a real thing, because I'm getting off here at 1 o'clock. No later than 1 o'clock, I'm done. But I want to know some of the real things that you guys are doing, and 99% of the time, I can give a translation of how you can make that work over there. And the more of us who are going over there and strengthening the economies of these different African nations, then the less America can bully them. And you don't, and here's the thing, the less America can bully Africa and Africa becomes a financial giant, it changes the concepts of how our people are treated here in America. It changes your family's, your grandkids or great grandkids' ability to say, you know, I'm tired of this, or I'm doing business. I'm doing so much business, you know, with African nations, with Caribbean nations, that I don't have to give in to the demands of corporate America. I have other options. And America can only oppress Black people in this country as long as you don't have as many options. But the more options you have, the more financial power you have, the stronger you are in this country. You see, it's not just for Africa. It's for America too. It's for England. It's for all the European. It's for all these Western countries that have a history of and consistently and continuously still oppress people of color. Without that, they will still dominate and they can still oppress. I'm not saying that I want to oppress white people. No, I don't. I don't think that anybody should be oppressing anybody. But the only time the bully respects you is when the bully knows that they can take it, they're going to take some hits as well. But the bully doesn't feel that in America. Corporate America puts out products and we go and buy it and buy it and buy it and buy it and buy it. And we buy it and we buy it and we buy it and we broke. We don't, you know, the majority of us don't own our own homes. The majority of us don't own land. But you can go over there and own land. Especially if you want to farm. I believe it's either Zimbabwe or Zambia, but I believe it's Zimbabwe. They have a program going on right now where if you are willing to work with the local chieftains and their villages, they will give you land to cultivate and farm. It's Zimbabwe. The reason why I remember it's Zimbabwe because the primary product, the primary agricultural product in Zimbabwe is cigarette tobacco, and China buys 54% of that cigarette tobacco. You see what I'm saying? They don't even care about America. Zimbabwe is like, America, we don't care about you. Right? You're tired of oppression. Honestly, I am too. That's why that's why this is a big part of what I do. So if you're, and see, I have a daughter, my middle child, she wants to farm. She wants to be a farmer. I don't know. Well, I know exactly where she gets that from. Her pappy was a farmer. And she grew up with her pappy, her grandfather on her mom's side. So, you know, she grew up being around a farmer. Yeah, it's Zimbabwe. Appreciate that, C-Mac. So I started telling her about that. So she wants to finish. She's getting ready to go back to school, finish up, get an agricultural degree, and then she wants to go over there, build a farm. I told her, there's a whole nother reason why she wants to finish the degree. It ain't got nothing to do with going over there, to be honest. But Dark Green would understand why I'm saying she wants to finish that degree. She's 23 years old, so Dark Green know why. But she wants to go over there. She's going to build a farm, and she just wants to farm. She's not going to grow tobacco because, you know, even though she accepts the fact that her father owns a cigar lounge and smokes tobacco, she's, you know, save the earth kind of person. So she tries to not do anything that hurts the earth. She's an amazing digital artist, but because NFTs take up so much energy, she don't want to sell her artwork that way. Anyway, getting distracted. But you see what I'm saying? There are opportunities. And you may go over there and you may initially be on the ground farming, but let's be real. As your business grows, you know you ain't on the ground farming no more. I watched the guy farm up. I watched like several of his videos. Yeah, he started out with a small chicken structure, and then now he has this 130-meter chicken, 2-level chicken structure. He got multiple ones. You know, just over what, 3 years, 4 years. He's not picking eggs no more. He's not feeding chickens. You know, and he does an amazing job of minimizing human contact with his chickens and the eggs. Like, I want some of those eggs because these are diseased up American eggs. I'd rather eat those eggs. If I'm gonna eat some meat, which I try not to do, I'd rather eat those chickens than these chickens we got over here. You know, one sidebar, one of the things that caught my attention when I first left this country is how the chickens and stuff are smaller because they're not steroided up. The amount of food they put on your plate is smaller because they don't gorge themselves like Americans do. But anyway, there are plenty of these countries that are doing that. I used to know a guy. I haven't seen him in 20 years, probably. Yeah, I haven't seen him in 20 years. But I do know his story was that he went to Zimbabwe. He bought a diamond mine. And he didn't even pay that much for it back then. He bought a diamond mine. He worked that diamond mine for 7 years. Once he finished working that diamond mine for 7 years, he sold enough diamonds and whatnot and that he came back to America. He's a good old boy. He's black, but he's a good old boy. He bought him I don't know the leagues, how they work in racing, but he had bought like a minor league race car team. He makes money off that. And he opened up a restaurant. He opened up a club bar. You know, he came back to America and back to Atlanta and he did business, right? But his foundation started in Zimbabwe. And one thing he told me, he said, man, if I ever needed to make some money faster, I'll go back. The only reason he came back is his parents were getting older. The only reason he came back. When I was stationed in Germany, I forgot the name of the guy's restaurant. I usually would know it. But he came to America, back to America in 72, felt the racism, got right back on the plane, didn't even go see his mom. Went back over to Germany and opened up a soul food restaurant. Killing it. He's only open during lunchtime. He was only open during lunchtime. If you didn't get any food during lunchtime, too bad. And the Germans were there more than the Americans. You see what I'm saying? He saw an opportunity and he went and did it. Now, he did it in Germany. But you have greater opportunities in sub-Saharan Africa. Ain't none of y'all gonna tell me what y'all do. None of y'all gonna tell me what y'all do. Is that what we're doing today? All right. So while we're waiting on that, now there are some countries like Kenya where when you get a visa, it's a 7-year visa. So that means you got to renew it in 7 years. If you build a business, it's easy to renew. So you want to make sure you stay on top of all your paperwork. You don't wait to the last minute to try to get those kind of things done. If you want to keep your dual citizenship, you have to come to America every so often, get a stamp, and you can go right back. I know a young lady, she teaches in Abu Dhabi. When she used to fly here, she stay in Atlanta for the summer, and then she go back. She don't even do that anymore. She comes into the airport, she gets a stamp. She has a 8-hour layover, and she tells people that if you want to hang out with me, this is the time frame that you have. This is where I'm going to be. You go see her and her daughter, and she get back on a plane, leaving that night, and go back to Abu Dhabi. So you have to understand all those different rules and laws and things of that nature. Now you can maintain dual citizenship, and many of the African nations are giving you citizenship, making it very, very easy to gain citizenship. They make it very, very easy to start a business. You can start a business in Rwanda for $100. $100. That's all it would take. Almost any business in Rwanda costs you $100. Who knew 213 dump truck driver learning the game would love to buy one, but it costs. Oh, I don't know if you was on here about 30 minutes ago. There's a gentleman. While I'm talking, I'm gonna see if I can find his YouTube page because I like to give people their credit. Oh, I never even turned this phone on. But my man, he does a video called Back to Africa, I think is the name of his page. Very popular page, Back to Africa. And he talks about the politics things going on in Africa. He calls America damn Erica. He interviews a lot of people. His page is also good because he interviews a lot of people who have made the move to Africa, and they break down some of the things you have to get used to. Having a water bowl instead of having, depending on where you live. If you live way out in the suburbs, way out, like in the country, actually, you're probably going to have a water bowl. Some smaller towns, you have to have a water bowl. If you're living in the cities, of course, you got plumbed in water. But he talks to a lot of expats who have left America, left the UK, and they've come down to his primary areas he's in is Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania. He's mostly in Tanzania, but to the point of the dump truck. He himself is not a dump truck driver, but he was talking about how he showed the dump truck that he purchased in Tanzania for $70,000. He was saying that where he was from in America, that same dump truck would cost him $130,000. He then rents out the dump truck to Tanzanian construction companies. He does give the warning that the only thing that he has to make sure of when those trucks come back, he checks the parts of his truck to make sure that no one has taken out his new parts and replaced them with an old part. That was his only concern. He didn't have a concern with people with getting paid. He gets paid. He didn't have a concern with nothing other than people replacing the parts. But once he's been working with certain companies, he knows that that's not what that company does. But there are some companies that do, some people who do that. But there are scams in America too. There are Americans who will scam you as well. So don't look at it as, oh, everybody over there scamming. No, everybody's not over there scamming. You know, that's what America wants you to believe. But recognize that you may be saving money to buy a dump truck to put that down payment on a dump truck, but you can get that over there cheaper, which means you can do it faster. And since you can drive a dump truck, it may allow you to be able to make even more money, since you can drive the dump truck yourself and you can make more. You're cutting out a middleman, because people were renting it for him so that they can drive it. Collie Durden. Yes, he interviewed me in 2021 in Namibia. Oh, really now? See, now I'm mad that my dang on Zoom wouldn't work, because if my Zoom was working, Collie, I would bring you on here. But my Zoom didn't want to work this morning, so I can't bring you on. So, is it Kaylee? Am I saying that right? Kaylee or Collie? But what did you do? Can you give us a brief little understanding of, you moved? Are you still there? Why did you move there? How did you move there? What your occupation was like? How did you make money? If you can give us any information, that'd be great. Because I don't know everything. I willingly admit I don't know everything. Just like this next question, what do you think about investing in their currencies? I don't know as much about currency exchange. I understand base level. I have a base level understanding of currency exchange, only because I used to do that with the mark. When I lived in Germany, it was the mark. And so I would know when to go in the bank and trade in my dollars for marks, and then wait for the movement. And then I would trade it back into dollars. And, I started with $5,000 and I was able to grow that into like $25,000 in a year. Collie. Okay. So, if you're investing in their currencies, all I can say is do the research, man. I don't know. That's outside my wheelhouse. That's why I'm trying to work with this Zoom, so I can have people who are more financially astute come on and fill the holes, fill the gaps. So can't really help you there too much. But Collie, we definitely want your story. I was with a group called AEF. We were there to build housing. My girlfriend is there. Right. Africa is open for her descendants and waiting for them to return. Yeah. This whole idea that Africans hate Americans is bullshit. I'm not saying that there aren't some Africans who do not like Americans. There are. Just like there are a bunch of French people who do not like Americans. But we don't say France doesn't want us to come, that we don't want to go to France because of that. But a black person in America would quickly say, I don't want to go to Africa because they hate us over there. No, that's bullshit. Yeah, there's gonna be some people that's gonna hate you. But on the majority, they don't. I never encountered anybody, not one person in all my travels of Africa, who hated me simply for being American. Hell, most of the time they didn't even think I was American. They started coming to me speaking in Swahili or depending upon where I was at, speaking to me in French. And I'm like, hey man, I'm American. I don't speak that language. I did speak a little French, but quick, like, je parle français et très mal. Est-ce que tu parles en français? Est-ce que tu parles anglais? Because let's get to the English. Because the French is bad. And right now I'm learning Spanish. So I look like, yeah, you look. Where are you, Zion? Where you at? And Kali, where are you right now? Or you say you was there, so I'm guessing you're back here. Oh, you are with a group called AEF. So Zion, you're in the U.S. So, but are you like firstborn U.S. or are you from, one of the nations over there, one of the countries? Like, but I do know that it is open, and they have reinitiated the year of return in Ghana. So making making Guyanese citizenship easier for you. They are making it where it's easier for you to buy property in all these countries. Let me tell you one thing that wasn't there. I'm gonna say, at least I didn't see it 5-6 years ago. Oh, you're back in the U.S. 5-6 years ago. In order to buy, when I was looking at what it would take to buy a house in some of the countries I was looking at, I had to come to the table fully cashed. Navy Federal wasn't going to finance me a house over there, and not out of racism, out of the fact that it's just they can't foreclose on it if I didn't pay the note. But Bank of America at the time wasn't going to do it. All these other banks weren't going to do it. But now, some of these American banks have charters in those countries, so now you can get financed through some American banks. You just have to find out which ones. But now, if you come there, you start a business, many of the banks there will finance you a house in some of these African countries. You just have to do the research for the country that you want to go to. You see, even though I love Rwanda and I'm loving the pricing, I'm loving Uganda, and I'm loving the pricing, they landlocked, and I'm not doing landlocked. So that's the only one. I was in the DR Congo and moved here at 9 years old. Okay. Which, and the Democratic Republic of Congo is close enough to where on my mother's side of the family, primarily her father's lineage, so my grandfather, on my mom's side, they were Yoruba. My grandmother's side, other than the Creek Indian, they were Igbo. So that's where my mother's side of the family comes from. My father's side of the family, because they came out of Europe before they came to America, and they came late. They came in the mid 1800s, and then before England, and then England's where we picked up the Reed name. My father's side of the family, they then came out of Gaeta, Italy. Thankfully, there were great records that were kept. And before Gaeta, Italy, the Portuguese brought them out of Mali. So that's why I look like this. The Creek, the Mali, the Igbo, and the Yoruba. So that's where all of this comes from. My daughters look like me. I don't know much about their mother's side of the family, other than this dang funky ring. Other than the Creek from their pappy. Their pappy was like, see, he would have been, if you did the math. He's like one third. He's like 1/3 Creek on their mother's side of the family, but their African heritage, I wasn't able to trace theirs too far. I couldn't get back to Africa where theirs were. The information started falling apart, so it's very difficult. Because I want my kids to know all of theirs, not just what they got from my side. It's a lot of goddamn research and paperwork, though. I can tell you that. It's a lot of research and paperwork. You got to check things that you wouldn't normally think about checking. You got to find these churches that still have books that kept track of weddings. You got to find land records, all this other kind of stuff, and find all this paperwork. And a lot of it has been destroyed. But anyway, no matter if you got skin, light skin, if you consider black in America, if America considers you black, they open the door. They open the door for you. They open the door for you. But definitely, who knew is go find the guy that Collie was talking about. That me and Collie was talking about, because he is already doing dump trucks. He did dump trucks. I believe I know he bought more of them. More dump trucks. And all he does, that dude don't work. His work is going around interviewing people and spreading the word. His mission is to get more and more of us to come over there and establish business, grow business, and live there. Now, I'm an advocate for us living there, but he is like, all of us need to leave. I just want 1/3 of us to leave, because America can't have everything that our ancestors who were here created, that we built. So no, they can't have it. Plus, yeah, it's go back to Africa. And the 2 is the number 2. Let's see if I can put this up. See if I can let me get. Yep. Go. I know it's backwards. Go back to Africa. Great page for gaining more and more information. Let me let y'all see it up here. Great page for gaining more and more information. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to this page if you're finding me for the first time. It's mine too. Share the videos. I appreciate the financial donations from C-Mac and Dark Green. I'm always going to show my appreciation for that. But I'm gonna go through. I know it's 2021, so I'm gonna go through and find your interview, Collie, as far as building houses. But you definitely want to go there with with a plan. And as far as the language is concerned, thank you, Collie. As far as the language is concerned, you're going to feel some kind of way, because America doesn't really push for you to learn multiple languages. In America, it used to be somewhat embarrassing as people would say, "Oh, you only speak one language." When I lived in Germany, you only speak one language. When I would go to these different countries, you only speak one language, right? Thank you. If you can find it in the post, that'd be great. Most people over there are going to speak at least 2 languages. A primary language that is spoken over there is English, but it would be in your best benefit to learn Swahili as well. Many African countries, Swahili is a common language as well. And then you also want to find out what the predominant native languages to that particular country as well. But because of the way the European scramble worked, the lines were drawn, splitting tribes and splitting languages and all of that sort of thing. So there are hundreds of dialects and different languages all throughout um, the sub-Saharan continent, but primarily English, Swahili, and then if it's one of the former French colonies, it'll be French. If it's one of the former British colony, then you're good because it's English. But English is also very widespread. So it'd be good to know some stuff before you go. I'm on Duolingo every day for the last, I'm on a 60-day streak, but I've been doing it for longer, uh, learning Spanish. Because my first stop is going to be Puerto Rico. I'm going to stay close. My mom is like 75, 76 years old. I'm going to stay close for a number of years first, and then see y'all later. Deuces. But I even got to get out of here. I'm treated better in Puerto Rico than I'm treated in America. Puerto Rican street, I don't. Puerto Rican cops don't they don't mess with you. They don't do nothing to you. Hell, when I'm in Puerto Rico, they think I'm Puerto Rican. Jokers don't walk up to me speaking English like, oh, he's American. He's mainland. No, they walk up to you and you just start speaking Spanish. So I'm learning the Spanish right now. But so you want to learn the language. Do you want to figure out what the languages are? Figure out where you want to go and learn the language. Figure out what lifestyle is going to work best for you. Do you need to live in the city? You want to live in the countryside? I need water, and I need beach water, as well as rivers and lakes. So I need coastal. I got to be in a country that has a beach, right? So find out what living conditions work best for you, and that's where you should. That's how you determine where you want to go, and then discover the economy. What's the economy that's going to work for you, and have the discipline to save. If you're not making that much money here in America, you're just barely getting by. If your why becomes stronger than your desire to have the new car or to have this or to go party or if your why is stronger, then you will have the discipline to be able to set aside, all right, 10% of every piece of money I make, I'm setting it aside. I'm going to set another 10% aside and I'm going to invest that. And I'm investing in something that's going to make me immediate money. And when you make that immediate money, don't spend it. I turned a few people on to Alibaba when they first really came out. They can't grow a business because they keep spending every dollar they make. You can't spend every damn dollar you make and expect to save any money to do something bigger. Like, I'm not going to do this, so I don't mind telling y'all. But I was on Alibaba and we were just talking trash. Well, a guy was saying how the Chinese people, the Asian people got the hair market on lock. I was like, no, they don't. Alibaba allows you to be out there. So to get into that game as well. So I took the time, we went out and I found where you can purchase these wigs that people are selling for $300 to $100. You can get them for $7 and $8. And they're of that quality. I'm saying that high quality, that quality that they're selling for $200-$300, you can get them for $7, $8. And most of them have a minimum purchase of like 50 wigs initially, right? So 50 wigs plus $8 is what? $450. So a $450 plus shipping investment into 50 wigs that you can sell for $100 to $300. Start building your ability to do something, to move. And that's just wigs. There's so many, you name a product, it's on Alibaba. You go on Facebook Marketplace and sell them. You can do eBay. You can do utilize these other platforms and you can sell your products. Or if you know people, if you want to do pop-up shops, you can get these products. You find a product that you can sell, that you can get customers for, and then you sell it. The biggest thing is people are like, I don't want to do all that, man. I ain't got time for nothing already. But if you whining and you ain't got time for nothing, then you stay here. Keep living under the oppression that you're living under. Keep living in the financial oppression that you're still living under. This is why I gave y'all the disclaimer earlier. When it comes to doing business, when it comes to changing your life, I'm not about that bullshit. If you're not gonna get it done, then shut up, stop complaining, live your little life here, and don't worry about it. Try to find as much happiness as you can find in whatever lifestyle you can gather here in America, or But if you have a mindset that, if you have a desire, that why, that's why I put why instead of how. Many people focus on the how. Let's get to the why first. Your why is the most important thing. If you don't have a strong enough why, then you can't develop a good plan, and you're not going to stick to the plan, right? But once you do it, you're good. Now I want you to think about that. If you can get products from Alibaba, or you can get products from America, and then you build that up a little bit here. And that's the thing. If you hear what I'm saying, you don't have to build it up where you're making, $10,000 a month selling wigs. Build it up to a point where you're drop shipping, or you're going direct from the, you're shipping wigs and you're making $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month in Rwanda, in Uganda, in Benin, in Togo, in Ghana. Ghana's a little bit more expensive than Benin and Togo, than those other countries I just mentioned. But Senegal, if you're making $4,000 a month, you're living like a six-figure income person in America. So it doesn't take as much to get there. It doesn't. You could be getting these. And if you can build you a customer base and make enough money off those, you can be selling watches, you can be selling shoes, you can be selling bags. I'm mad because those little unicycle hoverboards, I saw that before it came. I saw that on Alibaba before people started riding them here in Atlanta. They might have been riding them somewhere else first. I don't know. But I know in Atlanta, nobody was riding those. And I saw them about 2 years prior. And I thought about it, but I didn't do it. And then, no, it wasn't even 2 years. A year later, I see people, these little kids and adults zipping because I lived downtown at the time, zipping through downtown Atlanta on these one-wheel hoverboards. I'm like, God, boy, you got to be more careful. You saw it and didn't do it. I was worried about my popcorn shop at the time. But it would have been like a $1,000 investment to get like my first 25 of them things over here. But I didn't. I didn't do it. But those opportunities there. But I'm always looking at things and I say, oh man, I can make some money doing this. But I like the idea of it. I like thinking through process. I like thinking through a process of something, even if I'm not going to do it. Just to think through it. That's why I wanted y'all to tell me what y'all do. I've only had who knew tell me about a dump truck, and that's a great one. That's a great one. And like I said, my man go back to Africa. He just saw the opportunity and bought the dump truck and rents it out. He ain't driving. He's not driving at all. You'd be surprised at what you can do. Look at somebody in Gabon, which is the capital city of Botswana. A dude went over there and opened an American deli style little restaurant. And he gave it the American deli name. Selling American style chicken wings. Can't keep product. Line wrapped around the building when he, wrapped around the building. Money hand over fist. Open up American, and that's the sad part about it. You can slap American on a lot of stuff and you're gonna make some money. In the medical field, I know some people went over there and they opened up clinics in different countries. They opened up different clinics in different countries, and they are doing quite well with medical clinics. You can get government contracts that will pay you for your patients. depending upon what country you're in. Um, I know people who pharmaceutical sales. They started going there to do and open up pharmaceutical sales company. One thing in medical that you can make some good money in if you went to going over there faster than you can over here, to open up a clinical trials facility here in America, because I researched it, because I did some CRA work for a little bit. Um, that I can't remember. It was, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $200,000-300,000 to open up a clinical trials clinic in America. But when I was looking at Botswana, and I was looking at what country? I think it was Ghana. I was looking at the same time. But it would have only cost me about $50,000 to open up a clinical trials facility in those countries. You know, and the CRA cost the most. CRAs were part of the most expensive part, um, which it normally is. But a CRA in Africa doesn't have to be paid as much, and you can actually train the person to be a CRA. In America, it's hard to get trained as a CRA if you don't have a degree in biology or some other type of experience. I had a type of experience that helped me get into the field. So then I just had to pass the certifications and all that kind of stuff, to which I did. Um, but even to get a job in America as a CRA, I went through like multiple companies before I can get a job, and most of them wanted you to already have experience. Like, got to get a job to have experience. But I finally got on with the company, for a little while, but it was too much travel, and they had me crisscrossing the country. I had sites where they wouldn't give me sites that was in the same general, like in the southeast. They kept sending me to Seattle and then Atlanta. I mean, not Atlanta, but Miami. And then I had to go up to Oregon, and then I go down to Arizona. It's like it was too much travel. So, but what type of, you're in the medical field, but what do you do in the medical field? And if you're teleworking, all you got to do is set up your hours. Set up your hours so that you're available during the time frame. And depending on where, those hours are not bad. As I expressed, a gentleman who comes here, or you do EEGs. See, now that's the type of person. It's hard but not impossible for you to find a job over there and go over there with the job. Hard but not impossible. They generally can, want to hire their own people, but it's generally, but it's difficult but not impossible. If you can training, opening up a medical training school would be a good thing. The equipment is going to be your biggest cost. The facility is not going to be your biggest cost, but the equipment is going to be your biggest cost. Or opening up a office that does EEGs. You get your equipment, you get everything set up, and you go over there and you open up an office, a clinic where that's what you do. People come there for the EEG, and you're a provider of that. I don't know how much that equipment costs, but to be able to set that up. And that's what I'm talking about, going over there and setting up business. And then let's say you get over there, you set up that, and then you have some friends and family who want to come over, you bring them over. I spoke with the governor of North Namibia area. He put me in contact with a neurologist, but the neurologist didn't contact me back. I left many messages, but still nothing. Okay, find another one, and 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 another one. Remember, Colonel Sanders went to 1,002 different restaurants to try to get them to sell his recipe. It was the 1,003rd, I believe, or 1,005, who actually finally did it. Don't stop. And if Namibia is your country, then stick with Namibia. But if you're open to other countries, get on the horn. You're gonna go back, and if you're going back there, that's even better. Go and do a site visit. Go over there and start talking to people. Get that face to face time with people. You know, I get 50, 60 emails a day, and I ignore them pretty much all of them, except maybe one or two. But keep going. Don't let nothing stop you. Right. The only thing that can stop you from obtaining this life is you. Don't let America stop you. Don't let the propaganda here in this country stop you. Don't let the negative naysayers. Some of the biggest negative naysayers you'll run into is other black people, other people of color. They're the biggest naysayers. You know, those are the ones you can't listen to those people. You have to stay focused. That's one of the ways to stay focused is by making sure that you surround yourself with people who are going to keep pushing you to do it. Like, as long as if you keep coming back here, I'm going to keep pushing you. I'm going to hold you accountable. Right. The more and more I see you, colleague, I'm like, okay, June coming up. You ready? You got your 30-second elevator speech ready for when you meet these people? Have you already just, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if you're looking to get a job with them or you want to set up a clinic your own, but I am that person who will, be on your butt. Now, if you get over there, now we're getting close to June and you like, nah, I haven't put together a plan. I haven't, I haven't been practicing my elevator speech. I haven't focused on how to sell myself or sell what I'm trying to do. Now I'm gonna talk trash about you. Now you just also said that nothing really stops me. Good. I also do photography and videography as well. I'm already planning. We don't go to Africa to get a job. We go to give jobs. Exactly. And that's the thing. We should be going there to give jobs, but also we want to bring people. I'm gonna tell you right now, when I get to Africa, even when I get down to Puerto Rico, and whatever I build in Puerto Rico, I want to hire some Puerto Ricans, but I want to get some people to leave America and come to Puerto Rico. And then when I get to Africa, I'm gonna hire some Africans, but I'm gonna hire some people to leave America and come to Africa. I'm hiring both. Now, photography and videography, you see, look, I look at people's numbers on things like YouTube, right? And for the most part, I stay pretty well versed in how the algorithm is going, right? So my guy, go back to Africa. He has 260,000 subscribers. His videos are hitting 19,000, 48,000, 28,000, 24,000 in 2 days. In 2 days, he's hitting these numbers. 3-day-old video, 34,000. 4-day-old video, 31,000. Based on the YouTube algorithm, with how quickly he puts out, how often he puts out videos, the numbers that he's getting on these videos, just from the YouTube algorithm, and all his videos are monetized, he's making enough off of YouTube videos that it will provide for a decent lifestyle in Tanzania. I believe he still lives in Tanzania. He keeps moving around. I don't know where the hell he lives at, honestly, right now. And he's only made 742 videos. Shit, I done made like over 2,000 videos. But he did better with the algorithm than I did when I first started, because I didn't care when I first started. I didn't really care about the algorithm too tough. I only started caring about the algorithm a couple of years ago. And even then, I didn't really focus on it because I was focused on building this and my popcorn shop. But with your videography and photography, you could build an audience just on your exploration of Africa in the same way he does, in the same way that Maya does. Wode Maya, same way he does. And I know Wode Maya, that's all he makes. He makes all his money out there. And then there's affiliate marketing that you can do with your video production and photography on a social media platform. You get a big enough following on Facebook, on a fan page, and your videos then become monetized as well. And they don't even, I don't know how they're making money on Facebook with this. I just know that they're paying people for video consumption, but I don't know how they're making money. I don't know how Facebook's making money off of it because I don't see any ads going across on Facebook videos. But there are ways you can make money just off doing that. If that's what your true love is videography and photography, you can build that as well. You can build that audience. And that one's a little bit harder because you're looking at, you have to keep going over there. You have to keep producing and producing and producing and producing. And it may take you a year. It may take you 2, 3, 4, 5 years to build up your audience. What's up, Albert? How you doing? But it's all about what you're willing to do and how you can do it. You may have to continue to work and just make a bunch of trips, but you need to be on the ground over there if you're doing that one. You need to be on the ground. But if you can get these neurologists and other people, or set up your own EEG clinic or office space, I don't know what an EEG would be called. I don't know if that's called a clinic or an office, or be a provider of EEGs. That would be like, if we really sat down and went through it, like if I was coaching you, I would learn the ins and outs of that and figure out like how you can go over there and set up an EEG service, be an EEG service provider, and then from that, yes, provide the test. Exactly, provide the test, and then you are now in service to all these. That way, you're working for yourself, and you're B2B. You're not B2C. So that way, you're making money, and then while you're making money doing that, you can go, since you're on the ground, you can go do your videography and your photography and build that up as well in country. To the point where you've trained other people, or you brought other people in to do the EEG test, and you're out doing if videography and photography is your true heart, you're out doing your thing in that one, and you turn that into a format that where it makes money as well. So we can do this. There are ways. And I'm just thinking a little bit through it, but there are ways that we can figure it out. Hold on, let me unlock the door to the cigar lounge real quick because it's 12 o'clock. Just in case some of you jokers walk in. It's 12:07. I got to turn this fan on above my head so it'll pull the smoke up to the ceiling. Let me know if y'all hear about a fan noise though, because sometimes this new microphone, I don't know if it picks it up. If there's a lot of fan noise, if it's irritating, just let me know. I turn that fan off. Because I can hear it. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Can y'all hear that fan? Is it messing up the audio? Let me know. And I can easily turn it off. I don't have to have it on. Smoke doesn't bother me, obviously. But yeah, we okay, I'm good. Good. Great. We have opportunities. Who else? What else was you? Deborah, what do you do? Albert, what do you do? Yeah. I want to give y'all, and anybody else who watches these videos later on, because usually, yeah, we got people watching it. We got people on here right now, but throughout the rest of the days and weeks, more and more people will watch this video. And we really have to stop America from bullying and financially recolonizing Africa. One of the other main reasons why is over the next 50 years, Africa will become the next gold. That's the next gold rush. That's the next big economy that's going to come up. We could not have gotten into China when China came up. They had China for Chinese. 50 years ago, when China decided that it was going to make 1/3 of its population into millionaires, they were focused on making on everything inside of China. It was very difficult to go into China, and even though it was a great emerging market over the last 50 years, it's very difficult for outsiders to go in there and build and become wealthy. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, when he lived in China like 10, 15 years ago, he was doing voiceover dubbing uh, in China. So he would do the American voices for the voiceover dubbing. He was making about 4,000, 4,000 a month, and that was great for him. But it was hard for him to really build in China because they wanted it for their own people, and they, as rightly they should have. But Africa is open to us far greater than America, and if we sit by and don't do anything, it won't be Black Americans who benefit from Africa becoming a financial power in the next 50 years. From certain, definitely, and it's not like one country is going to become a financial power. If they finish the East African, when they finish the East African Federation, which is like 6 or 7 African countries, Rwanda, Tanzania, I think DRC just joined it, Sudan, Uganda, I think Burundi is part of it. And I know I said Uganda, I don't know if I said Sudan. But when they all form this East African Federation, they'll become the largest military and one of the largest and one of the, I think their economies will be equal to, if not greater than, South Africa and or Nigeria. There's going to be a lot of money made during that process. When the former French nations, they are talking about going to a current, getting their reserves back from France and going to a one currency between those French nations. So that's like Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, all of them. That northwest coast, Africa. They do that. Money is the opportunity to build and grow. If we don't do it, trust me, white Europeans and white Americans will. And then they will still hold all the financial power. And if they're holding all the financial power, then oppression becomes easier. So were they able to maintain the oppression, the financial oppression, the educational oppression, the media oppression? We have to go and change this. Our grandkids and great grandkids don't deserve for us to sit idly by. From New Zealand, how you doing, Margarita? From New Zealand. My youngest daughter wanted to, originally her plan was to go to New Zealand and farm in New Zealand until I told her about Zimbabwe. Now she wants to go to Zimbabwe, but she was originally thinking New Zealand is where she wanted to go and farm. And don't sleep on farming. Every farmer I know is making some great money. It's a little couple that I see on during the summer be selling their fruits and vegetables and stuff. They just selling their fruits and vegetables here in East Atlanta. They make $90,000 a year from their farm that they have in Eastman, Georgia. And then out in Eastman, Georgia, his parents own the majority of a lot of land out there, and they farm peanuts. And they make a killing farming peanuts. They're wealthy. And then he has a hydraulics company as well, and he's making money doing the hydraulics. This little family, if y'all saw them, y'all be like, oh, they some dirt poor farmers. After talking to them for a couple of years, them jokers are holding on to over $3 million reserve 2 years ago. Last time I talked to them was 2020. They got a $3 million reserve. But if you saw them, you'd be like, oh, the dirt poor farmers. Don't sleep on these farmers. Farming is a necessity of life. It's not a business that can come and go. It's always going to be needed. Whether it's animal husbandry or if it's agricultural farming, it's always going to be needed. That's why that guy who was a doctor stopped being a doctor to build a chicken farm in Uganda. There's another guy on Wold Maya's page. He left the UK and became a sheep farmer, a sheep herder, animal husband. And he has sheep. and he making money hand over fist, owning the land, controlling their economy. And that's the thing. We can't own land. And in most of these countries, when you own the land, you own it. There's not a continuous tax bill that you have every year. When you own it, you own it. In Ghana, when you own it, you own it. There's no taxes that you pay to the government. You own the land. You own that house. And we know that even in America, with Manifest Destiny, that allowed for the European Americans to be able to build generational wealth because they owned land. They owned the land. Or they leased it from the government and claim ownership of it, but they own the land. Yes, you can do that here in America, no doubt. But I want you to think about the fact that this house that we looked at earlier this week, $145,000 in Rwanda, cost you $800,000 here in America. Which one is the better buy? If you can afford to get a $700,000 house here in America, you can go over there and get 5 of those. 5 of them. You can, and these were Verbo-like houses. These weren't no Airbnb level houses. Which, not saying anything bad about Airbnb, but you know Airbnb will let you have some raggedy houses on there. But these were Verbo. You know, Verbo, you got to have a certain level of house to be on there. These were Verbo level houses that you could, that same amount of money here in America, you can buy 5 of those joints over there. And then you can live in one and Verbo the other 4 and make your money like a champ. Because we went and we looked at what it would cost to Verbo one of those houses. And for a week, it was right around $1,200 to Verbo a house like that over there. And the house only cost you $145,000. Your ROI, your return on investment, would be maxed out at in maximum 3 years of your return on investment with an 80% fill rate. The normal fill rate is around 80%. So out of 365 days, you're looking at, like, I think it was 241 days of the house being occupied. And you make your return on your investment within 3 years. So after 3 years, if you're consistent, you know, you'll have the majority of your homes, of those houses, paid off. Now your overhead drops because now you don't have a mortgage on that house. And a mortgage on a $145,000 house, even though their interest rate was 17%, but the mortgage on there, you're still looking at about $400 mortgage on those houses. You're making a killing. You understand what I'm saying? Do you feel it? Can you feel it? Now I can feel it. Can you feel it? I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it all up in here. You see what I'm saying? And see, quiet as it's kept, I've already sent the message out to the little real estate agent young lady whose page I started following on Instagram, who sells those houses in Kigali. You know, I may not be there, but I plan on buying before I even get there. And not just buying, and I'm buying for investment purposes. After I make this move to Puerto Rico, then the next move is to start buying those houses, buying houses and property in places like Rwanda and Uganda, in Benin. Because what I want to know from the young lady is, I want to know her property management side. And there are not a lot of American real estate agents over there. There's a lot of European agents over there, especially down in Botswana. Like when I was looking at moving to Botswana, damn near every real estate agent was some European who now moved to Botswana and opened up a real estate firm. And if you're a real estate agent in America, in most of those countries, your license will transfer over to those countries. You do have to take a test to understand the difference, but you have to have a degree in real estate, or you have to have been a real estate agent for, it's between 1 and 3 years. Between 1 and 3 years, you have to already been a real estate agent in America. Then all you have to do is take a test over there to, for the different rules that they have. and then you can be a real estate agent there. Now, most real estate agents who are running their business smartly in America, they ensure that they have 6 months of life set up, saved up in their own accounts. 6 months of life. In the event they go through a slump, they got 6 months of life. That is the best case scenario. That's a great scenario for if you're a real estate agent. Uh, when I got my real estate license, that's one of the things that the broker told me. Like, make sure you save up 6 months of life, because if you ever have a dry spell, you're good. That's many real estate agents fail because they don't have that 6 months of life. Popcorn shop and cigar lounge was taking way too much of my time, so I didn't really get a chance to focus on that. But if I would have, and that's what I was doing right now, I would have that 6 months. If I wanted to make that move to Africa, I would see what the equivalency of that. Well, if I got 6 months of American lifestyle saved up, it's probably equal to about a year and a half for the countries that I'll be interested in. About a year and a half of life for over there. That gives me plenty of time, and I would go ahead and pre-study, make sure I'm ready to take their test, and if possible, take the test before I leave. Have my real estate license already set up for there. Go there, set up my broker, my real estate, my broker, or if I be a part of another broker, that will give me time. I will have a year and a half of life. That gives me time to start working with expats who want to come over, and working in the local people who are there, so that I can build and establish myself and get things going. I'd be a YouTube, Facebook, IG nut job, as far as just like that young lady, as far as showing the different houses, the marketing of it all. So that's the kind of planning that you have to have. And you gotta be willing to put it into effect. James, who I don't know if James is still on here, but he knows because he comes into the lounge and sit next to me sometimes. I don't know why he wants to sit next to me, just so he can have his back. So he had his back aimed to the door. Is probably why he wants to sit next to me. But I'm just messing with him because he knows there's more to the sitting next to me than I'm saying. But if you think about it, they don't have many cigar lounges over there. Cigars are growing worldwide. They're increasing in number worldwide. To go over there, and with the economies over there growing, to go to a place like Kigali and set up a cigar lounge. And if you're like premium first one in the door, I'm developing more and more contacts. You think I'm not gonna go set up cigar lounges in different countries, in different cities in Africa? Please. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna have a lounge to go and sit and smoke and talk and learn and grow. And this environment, half the time we networking in here. So you can do it. There are many different ways that you can prosper in this, and we got to stop America from economically colonizing Africa. We sit over here worried about China. We sit over here worried about Russia. They ain't trying. They just trying to make money off Africa. They just trying to give loans and get their money back. And yeah, they're sending their people to go do this, because in some of these areas, the people in Tanzania and Rwanda don't know how to build a bullet train. But part of the contract of the bullet train that they're building is that there are Tanzanians and Rwandans who are working alongside the Chinese engineers and construction people to learn how to. So after this first mega rail is built, when they decide to expand the rail, they will already have their people who know how to do it. And then they will continue to grow their economies, and that's creating more and more jobs in those two countries. So imagine when the East African Federation is formed, that rail is now they're going to look to have that rail going through these other countries, the other 5-6 countries that join the East African Federation. That's an infrastructure build that they will be able to do in-house at that time. Okay. That's also going to provide opportunities, because everywhere that train stops, you're going to have the whole economy that's built around that, just like it did in America when the highway system was built. All of a sudden, towns grew. They need shops. They need restaurants. They need They need a little bit of everything. When I did nation building for the military, all these other things come into play when you want to, in order to build these communities, just based off transportation, just based off a rail station. You know, my man, Dark Green, your supply, your understanding of supply chain management comes into play big time. If you're an IT person, if you're a project manager, creating a project management firm, an IT firm, and getting those contracts, it builds you. It builds your company. And they're going to need it. They need it now, but they're going to need it even more and more and more and more during those time frames. So I'm telling y'all, we got to get with it. We got to. There are always going to be some people who are going to do nothing, and then 7 years from now, I'm gonna be like, man, I knew I should have. I wish I should have. I wish I should. I don't. I'm telling you, what's my man with name back there? Who knew 213? I don't want to see you on my video 5 years from now, Thompson. Man, you know, I was trying, but you know, man, I wish I would have, you know, went ahead and listened to you about saving 10% of what I make, and you know, hitting on some hustles or selling some stuff, you know, getting a product that I can sell and flip and save the profit, man. Because by now I could have about 10 dump trucks running. You see what they doing with the East African Federation, man? I could be running 10, 12 dump trucks. Because they're going to need dump trucks. All these people over there building houses, and I could have been running 10, 12 dump trucks. You know, could have been, man, but you know, they were hard, man. You know, I was, you know, I had bills, and then you know, I want to have some fun too, and all that. But man, I wish I would have. I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm tell you right now, I'm gonna cuss you out. If 5, 6 years from now I hear that, your best bet is not to say a word to me. 5, 6 years from now, I'm gonna tell you like it is. Cause don't think I'm just gonna go over there and open up cigar lounges. No. I love business. I don't even care about the business that I'm in. I just love business. It doesn't even matter. Like, I used to work with a guy, and he makes surgical gloves in Thailand. I don't care about surgical gloves, but we was creating a disposable workout glove. It didn't go over well, but we tried. You know, this is back in 2000. When did I own that gym? And he came 2008 when I owned the gym. We made them. I went out. We tried to get the gym, get LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, Anytime Fitness, all these gyms to pick them up. But we did a lot of test runs, but people just didn't like the idea of a one-use workout glove, which the selling point was you putting that dirty ass glove on your hand all the time. The glove is sweating, your hands are sweating, microbacteria is forming in there. Most people don't wash their gloves, but you know, once a week, or you know, once a month, or never. And you're letting it air out, but you're building all kind of fungi and bacteria and stuff. People rather just use their dirty ass gloves over and over again than to use a temporary one-use workout glove. It probably would work out better now since people have gotten, post-COVID, it will probably work better now since people have gotten more used to one-use gloves. But even when I won't go to a restaurant where I see people use gloves. I want you to use hand washing policies. Yeah, go wash your damn hands. Because they'll be using that glove, and then they'll do like this, and they'll keep on using that glove. They'll have that glove, and they'll do like this, and they'll keep on using that glove. I don't want you using gloves. My popcorn shop, we just washed our hands so much that, well, we went through bottles of lotion like a champ. But wash your damn hands. But so to me, a one-use workout glove is far better than you using that same stank-ass glove over and over again. So it'll probably work out better now. but I'm not interested in that right now. But those are the opportunities that I'm talking about. There are different types of opportunities that you can have. You know? And I'm gonna keep track of dark green. That's my Marine. And if he want to stay in America, I might have to go find him and slap him around a few times. Like, what you doing, man? Go over there and start a security company, or go teach leadership over there, or go open up a supply chain management company. Go do all three. You know. Oh yeah, dark green. And we're not going to get into a spiritual conversation right now. We're not. But I'm going to use this just for my man dark green. Because Ecclesiastes says, do many businesses, for you know not which one will succeed. I would throw that in your face. Even though we have a difference in opinions, I would throw that one in your face. I would use your book against you. Go do many businesses. But like I always say, there are aspects of every book that I do take in the wisdom of it. And that's one of the wisdom things I do take in. Go do many businesses, for you know not which one will succeed. Just leave you the can. I'm gonna leave you the can. Yes, I'm gonna Andy Dufresne. All y'all is red. All y'all is red. I'm trying to leave y'all the can right now. It's under the cigar plant. I'm leaving the can. Join me in Mexico, but my Mexico is gonna be Africa. I'm leaving the can. I want to be working on my game, and then all of a sudden, boom, there you are. It's just like this guy. He follows the channel. And he said, man, he lived in Sweden or somewhere like that, Norway, Sweden. And he was like, man, I'm coming. I'm gonna see you. I'm walking through North DeKalb Mall, and all of a sudden I hear somebody yelling, Coach Renz. I'm like, who the fuck? And man, I told you I was coming. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want y'all to be like, hey man, let's come sit down in the lounge. Told you I was coming. Told you I was coming. This is what I set up. This is what I got going on. You got some connections. You done been over here for a minute. You got some connections. And we're going to connect. And we're going to connect that. I might even have a couple, if it's a good plan, I might have a couple dollars to throw in there. Well, I'm going to have some dollars. I have some money. But you throw that in there. But you got to build for that. I opened this cigar lounge a year and 8 months ago. And I reinvested. Like that wasn't back there when I first opened. I didn't have that humidor, and I only had 19 boxes when I first started. No humidor and 19 boxes. Most people would walk into a cigar lounge like that and be like, man, this shit gonna fail. They finna have a grand opening, grand closing. That was a year and 8 months ago. And many people did have that thought. They're gonna have their grand opening and their grand closing. We still here. That humidor was built. We went from 19 boxes to 250 boxes. So I just got some cigars in. There's 6x60 GTO Dominican Puros called a GTO Mofo. That's right up your alley. By the time you do come, I have my LFD should be back into their right mind. We'll have the 700 DLs. I got you on your 6x60. I got plenty of other 6x60 for you too. You know, Empress Cut 6x60, Tabak 6x60. I got you. But that stuff wasn't here. But I kept reinvesting and kept building. This is not to inflate my own ego, but it's just to say to you guys that I'm not just talking out the side of my ass here. What's up, Michael? How you doing? I'm not just talking out the side of my ass. I'm talking about what I've done. And I can tell you that. I can show you that. Most people need a demonstration of what they want to do. Right? If I'm telling you that I built this a year and 8 months ago by having fortitude, by having the endurance, by having the patience, by having a plan. And all of that is to build for me to move to Puerto Rico. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, James, if you bring your butt in here, you better not tell none of these jokers. We leave in January. January, I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm moving to Puerto Rico. Don't tell nobody, James, because I don't want these jokers in here knowing yet. I'm moving in January, Puerto Rico. I'm going to get to Puerto Rico, establish some more cigar lounges. I'll probably find another business I want to get involved in Puerto Rico. And then after I know it sounds morbid to some people, but I'm going to stay in Puerto Rico as long as my mom is still alive. Once my mother is not alive, I'm going to Africa. Now she started living too damn long. Hey, mama, look, I'm going to Africa, and you just need to come with me. I know your brother, your sisters, and your grandkids, and all them are still here, but I'm tired of living here. I'm tired, ready to go. Yeah. So that's the plan. Now I know my mom already know. I already told her when I move to Africa, I'm gonna have you come visit me. I'm saying, Mom, you come and visit for a month, and then I'm not gonna let her leave. I'm gonna keep it there. Yours too. Yours too with the big eyes. Yours too. 5 years from now, I plan on being on the beach with my feet and my head in the sand like an ostrich. And with all the construction going on in Tanzania, my dude, C Mac, let me tell you how you can make that a fast reality. I don't know where your finances are right now, but I know with the truck driving, same thing that I was telling who knew. You can buy a truck cheaper in Africa than you can here. You can build your transportation company faster in Tanzania than you can. I think you said you was in Houston. I think you're in Texas, something like that. You can build it faster over there. So in less than 5 years, you can have your trucks and dump trucks and cranes and bobcats and all that stuff going on while you sitting on the Indian Ocean in Zanzibar with your feet and your head in the sands, but you got money rolling in. I know people like to get into 401ks and all that kind of stuff and have that retirement money, but you start depleting that. My thought process has always been to have a business that consistently makes money. That way, you are surpassing inflation every year. You have something that continues to make money. I never want to be a person who doesn't have a business going, that doesn't have a way that money is being made in the current markets. Right? I think the American lie, it's just not that way anymore. It's now becoming an American lie. We don't live in an era where you get a job at 18, 19, 20 years old, you work for the company for until you're 60, 65, and then you retire and you're getting paid on the pension. One of the ways that worked is because you bought a house when you was in your 20s, you paid that house off in 30 years, and you live in that house. You don't move. But now we don't do that. We move. Right? We move. We people buying houses at 45, 50, 60 years old, brand new mortgages, but if all you have is your 401k or some pension plan, that's not enough to keep up with inflation. So the mindset today needs to be that I'm going to build something that's going to continue to grow, that's going to continue to provide income, you know, and we're not, that's how we have to think. So feet in the sand, great. Head in the sand, great. Transportation business is making money. You got your tablet or your laptop sitting on the sand under a palm tree. Indian Ocean is out there being all beautiful and everything, and you just making sure you got you an inspector to make sure you got all your trucks and everything is going well. You got your dispatch. You got somebody who goes out and gets you. You got a contract person who goes get your contracts, and you have drivers, or you can farm those. You can hire drivers as needed, and you run it. I know a little bit about transportation because my oldest girl, she gets the contracts, and then she bids for the contracts, negotiate the contract, and then she bids the drivers. Then she put it out for bid for the drivers, and then she get the loads moved around. So I learned a little bit more about it by talking to my daughter about what she does. But boom, you got 7, 8. You can minimize your staff to about 7 people, 5 to 7 people. You running a nice company. You making money. You got your feet in the sand. You living in a place where you don't need to make 6 figures to live 6 figures. You don't need to make $1 million to live $1 million. Yes, she's a broker. Yeah, broker. Thank you. See, like a chef, Angelina, photographer, get into videography, get over into Africa, Puerto Rico, wherever, because that's my lady. But we get to Puerto Rico, get to Africa, take that whole photography and videography to a whole nother level, platform building, selling pictures, selling videos, because it's not just, you don't have to just take family portraits. You don't want to do it anyway, but you can create geographical videos and pictures and sell those to either production companies, to commercial companies, to individuals, and then get contracts to do specific ones, products, all that kind of stuff. Like, we got to think bigger than what the normal people do. Okay, this fan is getting on my nerves. And we got 20 minutes. I'm getting off here in 20 minutes. That's all y'all gonna get. One, I know that some of my folk, I got some daytime folks who usually show up around now, and I know a couple of them just came back from out of town because they sent me a text to let me know that they were coming. So I gotta get ready for them. Where is that remote? Oh, there it is. Nope, that wasn't the right button. Hell, I can't see. So what else y'all do? I want some other industries that I can talk about. Some other industries that can be conformed and created into that. And let's not get distracted by American government trying to tell bully these countries through they playing the LGBTQ community in Europe and in America. They playing them. They brought a subject up that they knew that those people would go ham about, so that they can change their focus, and they will focus on that. They're trying to make it seem like the democratic countries over there are not truly being democratic. America's a hypocrite, but it's a plan. It's a destabilization. It's part of. It's a part of the overall destabilization plan. All right. You get the people distracted from the economics of things and the building of things, the nation building, and you get them distracted and focused on social issues. As long as the people are focused on, if you saw my video about the magic, paying attention to the left hand when the right hand got all the magic going on, you get them distracted and fighting over social issues that doesn't have as much impact. And once you get them distracted and they start fighting against their government over social issues, the people are not even paying attention to the fact that they're losing their economic power. Economic and military power are the only two powers that actually matter in this world as far as humans and their low vibrational thought processes. And we are a vital part of stopping that. Now, if you are getting real small on this cigar, if you are an activist for those communities, you may sit here and be like, no, we gotta, they gotta let everybody in. They gotta let everybody, live their life how they want to live their life. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's their country. Yes, iconic man, you are very late. But if they democratically chose to outlaw LGBTQ behavior, marriages, adoptions, and media promotions, and their elected officials elected to do that, it is not America or anybody else's business or hypocritical mindset to stop them from doing it. If the people don't like it, then the people will out those people, will get rid of them. That's democracy. If President Kagame keeps being reelected, and the people love him and the people want to keep electing him, that's their prerogative. It's done democratically. It's done at the will of the people. Who is America to tell them that they can't? Who? America wants it to look like America, so that America wants them to obey American mentality so that America can dominate them. Right? That's the whole purpose and point. America wants to dominate them. Who drives a white truck? Somebody in a white truck just pulled up to the lounge. I don't know who it is. Depending on who it is, we'll keep talking. But because America has that mentality, that's how they want to control it. So they're trying to destabilize the people by getting them to conform to that. What's up, man?
It's a bad time.
No. Are you staying?
No, I'm just gonna.
No, just in a great stick.
Okay. Are you doing a podcast here?
Yes, sir.
All right. Cool.
You never stay in here anyway.
What's that?
I say you never stay inside anyway because the weather be too nice. You be outside all the time.
Right.
It's my Cubano. I got quite a few Cubanos who come in here. Actually, he helped me reformulate how I make my coffee. That dude, show me how to make some great coffee.
Okay.
What you got?
That's a nice setup there. That's a legit.
Thank you.
These habanero, this in that $10 bin.
Oh, this one, this Grand Habano, I like this one more so than
The
I
number
mean, the other ones are good.
Yeah, those are good.
Now that number 5 with some coffee.
Yeah, I drink coffee all day. I drink espresso like water.
I know. I was just telling them that it's because of you that I was able to make my coffee better.
Okay.
You know, with the Cuban way of doing it.
Oh yeah. You don't have a little machine the way we do it, but you can buy those little Italian coffee makers, some little silver ones.
I got one.
For home.
I got one, but I don't have a burner here.
Oh yeah. But I mean at home. True. We just drink. I don't know. We just drink. I mean, if you know, I have a lot of Cuban friends, and it's just it could be. I can't leave someone's house, or they leave my house wherever we go. No, we're gonna have some coffee before you go. I know it's 11:30, but yeah, we just.
I had this lady come in. She was describing her husband, and for a minute I thought it was you.
Okay.
The way she was describing.
Could have been. We're all the same. I swear. Like a giant stereotype of. I have a friend of mine. He was born in Cuba. He's been here. He's got a real thick accent, and so I always have fun with him when we go out because you know they won't expect me to speak Spanish or whatever, and then so we'll pretend like we don't speak English, but he does. So then it was nice meeting you, ladies. I'm like, wait a minute, I think I speak English.
Yeah, you can't be falsifying your Cubano, man.
You know.
All right.
Hey man, have a great day. I'll
You
see you
too.
later.
See you later. Day in my life. What the hell was I talking about? Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying, but it's probably something about them destabilizing Africa, LGBTQ, using that as like a red herring to get people to not focus on what's really going on. Trying to get them under control of America. Trying to get America has this thing. Like I came to this realization a little while ago. America does not like differences. It doesn't. You know, it claims of, you know, I remember growing up Schoolhouse Rock, you know, that whole song, The Melting Pot. It's not really a melting pot. It's we want you to be Western European like we are. That's what America is. America doesn't like difference. It doesn't want difference. It wants everybody to be the same. And it wants that sameness to be itself. It wants it to be American. It wants it to be white American at that. It does not, you know, even though they will appropriate different cultures, they still want to appropriate it and make it into their own culture. America doesn't appreciate differences. So even though these people have done things democratically to establish what their laws are going to be, how they're going to run their government, America wants to force them to run their government the same way America does, to treat their people the same way America is treating their people. You are sending over the message from America about LGBTQ rights when we still, what about the rights of people to just live? You know, what about the rights of your kids to go to school and not worry about a gunman? Or go to church and not worry about a gunman, to be pulled over by the police and not worry about police brutality. And don't get me wrong, police brutality happens to everybody in America. It happens faster towards black people, but white people are experiencing police brutality as well. And not until enough white people experience it that a change will be made, but that change more than likely will be just geared towards white people. But you see, the Asians were able to get the Asian crime bill in because why? They had money. They had money. A lot of people say, oh, they got money, but they also got the backing of a whole country. No, they don't. You didn't see the Japanese government, the Chinese government. You didn't see other governments come in and push America for that Asian crime bill. No, it was the Asians in America who got money and business. They pushed it. They pushed it. But we ain't got that kind of money. We don't have that kind of political power because we don't have that kind of financial power. And in America, it's going to be it's easier. It can be built in America, but it can be built easier outside of America. And yeah, Christopher, it can happen anywhere. Um, you can experience police brutality in any place in the world, but it's less likely that I'm going to experience police brutality in Rwanda because I'm black. I'm not going to experience it because I'm black. I might experience it because of the neighborhood that I'm in. I might experience it because of an ignorant cop. I might experience it because I actually did something wrong. But I'm not experiencing it because I'm black. That part. That part. I'm not going to experience redlining in Ghana because I'm black. I may experience it because I may want to buy a house or a property that's in a uh, low income area, a crime ridden area. I'll experience it because of the conditions of the area, not because I'm black. You can't redline a black neighborhood because they're black when damn near the overwhelming majority of people are black. See what I'm saying? I don't understand the comment gorillas, but I don't understand what you mean. I know what the word means, but I don't understand what you mean. You see who the government U.S. sent to visit. Right. They sent Kamala. They thought, oh, let me send the black lady over there. That lady don't claim to be black. She's Indian. Yep, we can control all of the factors except that part. Now, there are bad cops everywhere. There's always going to be a bad cop in every country, every police department, every last one of them. But at least you being a bad cop because you just a bad cop. You being a bad cop to everybody, regardless of what they skin tone. In America, you can have a cop who's normally a good cop until he has to deal with a black person, and then all of a sudden, that that embedded racism and fear just kicks in. Just kicks in. I've seen that happen. I've seen there. I grew up in Marietta, uh, and back then, you pretty much knew every cop in the city of Marietta. I mean, they all knew you. They all knew your family. When I did do something wrong, they'd be like, "Oh, you Eddie J. Ross' grandson," and they didn't call. They didn't take me to the police. They take me to my grandfather, which I used to beg them, "Please take me to jail. I do not want to go to my grandfather." But then I remember this cop. This guy moved in. He became a Marietta cop. He transferred from Cherokee County, where he was at first. He was fine because he was in the more white area of Marietta. But then he got reassigned to one of the black areas. And when he was in that white area of Marietta, if he pulled you over, he was a little bit more aggressive and whatnot. But when he came to the black area of Marietta, oh my God, this dude just lost his freaking mind. Lost his mind. Marietta was different back then. You know, the old, as people say it now, the OGs, people like my grandfather, them, they kind of squared him away, and then they fired him. He went back to Cherokee County. Um, Guerrillas are like the cartels in Africa. Okay, you're gonna have that everywhere. You got gangs everywhere. You got mafias everywhere. The likelihood of You know, when we focus on certain things, we don't think about the reality of those things. Some people are afraid to fly because they saw a plane go down or they hear about a plane crashing. But the likelihood of you dying in an air crash, airplane crash, is very unlikely. You're more likely to die in a car crash than an airplane. You're more likely to die in a car crash than on a motorcycle. But people will fear motorcycles and they will fear airplanes even more so because somebody has crashed, somebody has died. You know, they'll see the gruesomeness of those crashes, those types of crashes. I knew people in Germany who were afraid to drive on the autobahn because if you have a car wreck on the autobahn, 90% of the time you ain't gonna survive it. So they were afraid to drive on, but there were more crashes on side streets than there were on the autobahn. But these people were afraid of that. The likelihood of you being in a situation in most African countries and you become a victim of a cartel is incredibly low. You're more apt to become a victim of your next door neighbor than that. And that's true in America. You're more apt to become a victim of your next door neighbor than you are to become a victim of gang violence. There are plenty of gangs in Atlanta, but my neighbor is more likely to shoot and kill me. That dude who just drove down the street is more likely to shoot and kill me than one of the gangs in Atlanta. Proximity plays a big part of it. That dude drives up and down the street all the time. I don't go to those parts of town where I'm susceptible to that. Most of the countries in sub-Saharan Africa are not having warfare going on and the country's being decimated and all that sort of thing. They got about the same amount of violent issues as America. And let me preface by Christopher. I don't know if that was your intent. I don't know what your actual intent was for your statement, but that's what it just brought up in me. Because I hear that fear, and I see that fear in so many other people. You may not have it, but I hear that fear in so many other people. Like I said, about 2 hours ago, there was a guy who came here, and he was like, they ain't Rwanda still having genocide and civil war over there? I'm like, dude, that was from that was like mid-90s. That's been over more than 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We have to put things into reality perspectives if we want to make a big move. Granted, most people never move and live outside of the country that they were born in. Everybody, for the most part, stays put. You may move around in your country, but most people never leave their country. The majority of Nigerians have not moved to America. We may have a lot of Nigerians who live here, but the majority have not moved to America. And the majority never will move to America. And the majority don't want to move to America. My Nigerian guy who comes here, he used those finite terms. Everybody in Nigeria wants to come to America. No, they don't. If everybody in Nigeria want to come to America, a lot more of them would be here than they are. Everybody doesn't want to move here because there are plenty of Nigerians who are making some good ass money in Nigeria and they ain't legal. And most people are comfortable with the misery that they're in. The big picture is to unite. I got you, brother. Yeah. And the thing about uniting is that you don't need everybody to unite. Now they just can't let me do this without phones ringing. But we don't. The law of innovation or diffusion, which is something that I repeat over and over again, we don't need them. Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge. Hey, Missy, how you doing? I'm all right. Ooh. Not quite yet. I ordered a whole bunch of other stuff but no. I went ahead and ordered a bunch of stuff from people who gave me a net 30 because it was easier for me to get a lot more product in faster since we're restocking the humidor right now. Y'all don't do y'all do a net 30? Okay. Right. Well, do me a favor. Send me what the price point would be for a box of the black, box of the white, both with Gusto and Toro. Yeah, box of the black and box of the white with Gusto and Toro. I never ordered the white. I think I just had a Toro. Do y'all have a Robusto in the white? Okay. Oh, so they're same for each. So 99. Okay. Okay. All right. So I got that in my mind, and I'll look at my plan, my refilling plan, and that way I'll be able to just hit you up without you having to. Well, the last couple months have been slow across the board as far as the cigar industry. So I'm with you. We've experienced the same. All right. You too. See you later. Bye. Yeah, that I do need to get those cigars in. They sell pretty. They sell well. Ooh, but they're not out. They weren't. Anyway, that's my business. So, um, yeah, the law of innovational diffusion, basically, and this is where I'm going to start to wind down here because it's after 1 o'clock, and I know these jokers about to walk in the door, and they're sitting. The What we need is that first 1%. At first 1%, and we're less than 1% that are moving right now, but it's growing. Uh, that first 1%, then the next 3% will come right behind it. Then after that, you have another 10% that will come right behind that. Uh, but because of the magnitude of what we're talking about here, once we hit about 1% of the diaspora coming back and building and constructing and creating job opportunities, creating industry, it'll open the door for a larger group to come because not everybody will have to come and start a company. You'll have people who will be able to come and actually work for a company that was established by that 1% that came. Once that 3% starts coming, and this is where the law of centrifusion, it will skew a bit. Once that 3% has come, I don't think that we have to go through the stage of the 10% and the 18% and then hit that tipping point and then the 36% comes. I think it'll be a big rush of people that will then come. But also at the same time, it will create more industry in America as far as what black people's mindset. It will change the mindset of black people in America, people of color in America, because they will see the connections and how much they can and what they can do on both sides of the fences. And it'll enable us to grow here. Um, so when we do that, we won't need as many. We don't need everybody. We only really need a small few to change the mindset. And once the mindset is changed, that's when the economic growth and development changes at a much larger scale. And when that mindset changes, you see, when America knows that it can't mess with you as much because you got backing from family members who went over there and established money and established business, and they have business big enough where something happens here and you can have the lawyers uh, to disrupt their plans. You can buy land here and disrupt their plan. You can create uh, prosperous communities, then it disrupts their plans. And as we do all of that, it doesn't take as much because then those who are not part of that will still benefit from it. They'll still benefit from it. And when they see that you can go to Africa and there's the unity between the African and the African American who came to Africa, that unity in itself, that perceived unity, and we don't even have to be unified. We just have to get along. We just have to be living in peace. We're over there and we have this organization and we're unified. Just the visuals of seeing the diaspora come there and do great, that visual alone changes the narrative. And because we got Facebooks and YouTubes and TikToks and what's the one that Quincy Jones' son started? Fan something. Because we have these, where basically CNN and Fox and all of them can't control what you see, and everybody is their own media company, and you are providing the information, you're giving the visual, you're showing you on the ground. It changes the mindset. You can't say that everybody is in Ethiopia is, for me, I thought everybody in Ethiopia was starving when I was growing up, because that's all you saw. You can't come out and say that now. You can't come out and say that because we know it's a lie. I didn't know that there was industrious countries in Africa when I was growing up. I didn't realize that until I went. So they can't get away with that. And the more we are showing that, demonstrating that, we're using these social media. My children's generation, at 27-year-olds and 20-year-olds, they will be more apt to go over there. They will be more apt to build more stuff. They like that generation is already dispensed with what I grew up with. With you go to school, you either go to the military, or you go to college, and you build a family. They're like, I don't necessarily have to go to the military. I don't necessarily have to go to college. There are opportunities for me to grow well beyond that. A lot of companies today are saying that they don't even care about the college degree as much as they used to, because they realize that it's not all that it was propped up to be 40, 50 years ago. So all of those changes will happen much faster. The one guy said it'll take 100 years. I told him no, 20, 30 years. You'll see a major shift in world economics. And you'll see a major shift in the economics of Black people if we realize, well, it ain't if we realize, because we are. Those in that 1% are doing it. They are hauling ass, and they're doing it. And that diaspora is coming from everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down, guys. And we're going to continue to have these discussions. That's why we, Monday, 8 o'clock. Somewhere between 8 and 8:30, we start our Monday morning meditation and motivation. Start our week out right. Tuesdays, for those who are of deconstructionists, as myself, right? We don't use anything in school in the real world. We do Tuesday is why I left religion with Coach Renz, goes into full gear with. We are doing Exodus 17 and 18, deconstructing that. On Tuesday. Wednesday, we talk about relationships. Y'all don't show up for the relationship video, but I need y'all to show up for the relationship videos, because building strong relationships, building strong families is more important than deconstructing a religion, is more important than building finances, is more important than anything, because you can build all the finances you want, but if you don't have a strong family, then it's all for nothing, and you're going to lose it. And happiness is the main goal. We want to be happy. And definitely on Monday, this upcoming Monday, I'm definitely talking about happiness. I ain't gonna like how I start, but you'll understand the point once I get there. And then, of course, Thursday, I missed this Thursday. I was over on military base doing a whole bunch of stuff. That Thursday is just we're growing our internal spiritual being. Finding, developing more of our own path of what we need to, finding our own path. And then, of course, Friday could be politics, could be money, could be any of those kind of things. Could be anything on Friday. So I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the donations from, I know it was, I don't want to lie. I remember one was the donations from Dark Green. I appreciate it. From CMAC, I appreciate that tremendously. The guy was saying you got a good setup. One of the reasons why more things are being added to the podcasting ability is because of those donations. So I appreciate you guys tremendously, and it just, it warms my heart. So I appreciate those. Subscribe to the page if you're just finding me. share and like every page, the Facebook page and the YouTube page. Those are my strong pages that I'm going to be at on doing the lives. The lives are not going to be on TikTok anymore. I can't stand TikTok to a certain degree, but it has its usage. So I appreciate you as well. Appreciate every last one of you. Y'all have a great day. And remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration. We are out.